In Indian polity, we are going to discuss about Article 32, that is right to constitutional remedies. So Article 32 generally talks about the right to constitutional remedies. It means the right to remedies for the enforcement of the fundamental rights of an aggrieved citizen. Okay. So here our Indian constitution provided the effective machinery for their enforcement. Okay. So if any fundamental right is violated, so there is a effective machinery for the enforcement of a particular fundamental right through the Article 32. Okay. So Article 32 is very important because Article 32 is useful for the enforcement of the fundamental rights, that is part 3. Okay. So without Article 32, our Indian constitution is meaningless, useless and worthless. Okay. So if there is no Article 32, okay, so without providing an effective machinery for the enforcement of the fundamental rights, so our Indian constitution is meaningless. Okay, so being a Article 32, so this is a fundamental right. Okay, so Article 32 itself is a fundamental right. Okay, so Article 32 is providing the protection to the fundamental rights. Okay, so Article 32 itself is a fundamental right. So B.R. Ambedkar, so he is the father of the Indian constitution, right? So he called Article 32 as the most important article of the Indian constitution. Okay, so Article 32 is the most important, okay, so very most important article in our Indian constitution. Okay, so in the entire Indian constitution, so there is a Article 32 is very important, okay, according to the B.R. Ambedkar words. Okay, so without Article 32, our Indian constitution is null and void. Okay, it means there is nothing. Okay, so without Article 32, the Indian constitution is nothing. Okay, so Article 32 is very soul and very heart of the Indian constitution according to the B.R. Ambedkar words. Okay, so here Article 32 is compared with the heart or soul. Okay, so here heart is very important in a human body. Okay, so without a heart, the humans cannot live. Okay, so in the same way, according to the B.R. Ambedkar words, so Article 32 is very important and it is a heart of the Indian constitution. Okay, okay, so Supreme Court said that Article 32 is a basic feature or basic structure of the Indian constitution. Okay, it means there is no amendment regarding the Article 32 because Article 32 is a basic structure of the Indian constitution. Okay, so through the amendments we can abridge or away any right in the constitution but except basic structure of the Indian constitution. That's why Article 32 is never take away or abridge by the amendment of the Indian constitution. Okay, so here Article 32 is a basic feature or basic structure of the Indian constitution. Okay, there are four important provisions under Article 32. So first one is right to move Supreme Court for enforcement of the fundamental rights. Okay, so here we generally talks about the Supreme Court. Okay, so because Supreme Court is the guarantor or defender of the Indian constitution. Okay, so it is the first interpreter of the Indian constitution. Okay, so that's why Supreme Court has the power to involve in the fundamental rights violation. Okay, so if any aggrieved person whose fundamental right is violated, so he can go to the Supreme Court for the enforcement or take for the strengthen that particular fundamental right which is violated in their life. So he can go to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the fundamental right. Okay, so this is the first most important provision under Article 32. Okay, so coming to the second provision, so Supreme Court shall have the power to issue directions, orders and writs. Okay, so for the enforcement of any fundamental right which is violated, So the Supreme Court has the power to issue directions. Okay, so it can issue orders, it can issue writs. Okay, for example, there are some writ powers. So habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, quo warranto. Okay, so these are very important writ powers which are incorporated in the Supreme Court jurisdiction. Okay, so Supreme Court can give the directions in the point of writs. Okay. Okay, coming to the third important provision under Article 32 is the parliament's power. Okay, so here the entire power was given to the parliament. Okay, so here the parliament can empower or can give right to any other courts. Okay, so after Supreme Court there are so many high courts in each state. Okay, so and there are some subordinate courts like district courts also there. Okay, so the parliament has the power to empower or to give any right to the other courts to issue the directions, orders or writs. Okay, whenever there are cases which are related to the fundamental rights, so other courts also has the power to issue directions, orders or writs. Okay, so this important entire power which is given to the parliament. Okay, so the parliament can take any decision regarding the powers to any court. Okay, but without affecting the Supreme Court writ powers. Okay, so the Supreme Court has writ powers. It means the Supreme Court can give directions in the name of the writs for the enforcement of any fundamental right. So without affecting the Supreme Court's jurisdiction or Supreme Court's writ power, so the parliament can give the directions or can give the power to issue directions to any other courts. Okay, so for example, by using the power of parliament, so according to Article 226, high courts also has the same power like Supreme Court. Okay, it means high courts also can give directions to any person whose fundamental right is violated. Okay, so by using the Article 226 they can issue writs. Okay, so this is very important provision under Article 32. And the fourth provision is right to move Supreme Court shall be suspended except law provided by the Constitution. Okay, so here we are following the laws which are incorporated in the Constitution only. Okay, so without any law in the Constitution we cannot go to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the fundamental rights. Okay, so we have the power to move the Supreme Court for the enforcement of any fundamental right which is violated in our life. Okay, so it shall be suspended except law. Okay, so according to the law which is provided by the Constitution only, we can go to the Supreme Court in the point of fundamental rights violation. Okay, so the provisions were completed and there was some regulation. Okay, so that is president can suspend the right to move any court for the enforcement of fundamental rights during the national emergency. Okay, so I think you all know about the national emergency, right, according to Article 352. Okay, so during the national emergency president can suspend the right to move any court in the point of fundamental rights violation. Okay, so simply we can say right to move any court for the enforcement of fundamental rights means Article 32. Okay, it means the president can suspend the Article 32 also during the national emergency. Okay, because if any fundamental right is violated during the national emergency, so the people will go to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of a particular fundamental right. Okay, so by using the Article 32, that's why our president can suspend that important Article 32 during the national emergency by using the 359 article. Okay, so by using the 359 article president can suspend the Article 32. Okay, so one more thing is Supreme Court is guarantor and a defender of the Indian Constitution or fundamental rights. Okay, so Supreme Court has original and wide powers regarding the fundamental rights by using the Article 32. Okay, so because here we are talking about the Supreme Court. Okay, so there are some original powers of the Supreme Court regarding the fundamental rights violation, because an aggrieved citizen can directly go to the Supreme Court. Okay, so there is no need to go to the High Court, and there is no necessarily by way of appeal to the Supreme Court. Okay, it means a person can go to Supreme Court directly. There is no need to go to the High Court first. Okay, it means whenever our fundamental rights were violated, so we can go to the directly Supreme Court. Okay, so this is the original power of the Supreme Court. And Supreme Court has a wide powers regarding the fundamental rights enforcement. Okay, because Supreme Court can give directions and it can give orders or writs. Okay, so without any restrictions or without any pressures from the parliament or state governments. Okay, so Supreme Court can give directions, orders, writs. Okay, that's why Supreme Court has wide powers regarding the Article 32. So according to Article 32, so there are enforcement for the fundamental rights, right? Okay, so Article 32 is only used for the fundamental rights violation. Okay, so Article 32 is not used for the non-fundamental rights violation or statutory rights or customary rights. Okay, so only for the fundamental rights violation. So, Supreme Court cannot determine a question which is not involved in the fundamental rights. Okay. So, if any constitutionally executive order or legislative order if violates the fundamental rights, so Supreme Court will deal that particular case because that case is related to the fundamental rights violation. That's why according to Article 32, they can involve in that case whenever there is another issue, okay, other than the fundamental rights issue. Supreme Court cannot determine a question and they cannot deal that particular case which is not involving a fundamental rights violation. Okay, so enforcement of fundamental rights. If there is a violation, there was a enforcement of fundamental rights. So the entire jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is original but not exclusive. Okay, so the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is original but not exclusive means this is not final. Okay, so why? Because high courts also have the power to issue writs. Not only Supreme Court but high courts also have the power to issue writs under Article 226. Okay, so by using the Article 226, high courts also have the power to issue directions, orders or writs. Whenever there is a violation to the fundamental rights, high courts also involved in the fundamental rights violation according to Article 226. Okay, so if fundamental rights violated, we can go to the Supreme Court or High Court directly. Okay, so if fundamental rights violated, according to Article 32, we can go to the Supreme Court. According to Article 226, we can go to the High Courts for the enforcement of that particular fundamental right. Okay, so we can solve our problem by using the Article 32 and 226 also. Okay, so first preference is High Court, and if there is no solution in High Courts, so we can go to the Supreme Court. Okay, or if we are not able to go to the High Court, so if we want to go to the Supreme Court, we can go to the Supreme Court. So it's our wish to go to any courts. Okay, so this is the Article 32. Okay, in the next class we will discuss about the writs.